whatever it might be, 10, 12 days since the All-Star break to where we stand right now as far as deals are concerned in Major League Baseball. Manny Machado obviously was the first to go, and the Dodgers closed it with Brian Dozier of the Twins today. Twins were very active. They traded Lance Lynn last night and everything else to the Yankees. The Yankees obviously made their hits with Britton and made their hits with Jay Happ. The Red Sox last night got Kinsler from the Angels on top of getting Eovaldi from Tampa. Tampa, about a half hour ago, if you missed it, traded Chris Archer. He to Pittsburgh. They got Meadows back, the big outfielder, who a lot of people think is going to be really good. And I thought he was a high prospect, but I'm not exactly sure why Pittsburgh. Well, listen, Tampa's a good franchise. Price got Archer's got a big arm. He's underachieved. He's overrated, but he's got a big arm and he's got a good contract. So they were going to demand something in return. They got Meadows. That he's the linchpin of that trade. So from that standpoint, I don't know if Pittsburgh really wanted to trade him, but there you go. Diekman goes to Arizona along with Brad Ziegler today on top of Escobar from the Twins. Diamondbacks do what they have to do to make a push. Listen, a lot of teams, the Atlanta, got some people today. They got Gaussman from the Orioles, not a big deal to me. They got Duval from Cincinnati. They got Brad Brock earlier. Baltimore, of course, was not able to trade Adam Jones. Ramos, who's hurt right now. I'm not sure when he's due back. Big catcher, got some power, right-hand hitter. They got a good catcher anyway. Now they have another one. The Phillies make a move to get him. So there were some maneuvers. No Matt Harvey trade. Brewers are quiet. Those are two things on the opposite ends of the table. The Mets did not trade Zach Wheeler today. San Francisco did not trade McCutchen, nor did they add anything. So the Giants laid low, which is probably the proper decision because of where they stand in the standings, which is not very good. Around 500, 7-8 games behind, 3 teams ahead of them, and 3 teams who have played really well. Rockies have done a great job. Dodgers, of course, for 10 under. Now they're 11 over. Activity more so than I thought today. I wasn't sure what to expect. Pittsburgh got the Texas closer. Texas really unloaded some players. I guess they kept Beltre, but, obviously Hamels went. Kayla went, the closer. They traded, obviously, Diekman. He goes today, too. Texas is having a bad year. Diekman just changed his clubhouses. Texas is in Arizona. The Red Sox and Yankees, they kind of a little tit for tat. The Red Sox got a second baseman last night. Obviously, they want to put Brock Cote and Nunez in the utility role more so than the everyday role. They don't expect Pedroia to come back this year. He's got contracts down the road, but not this year. Kinsler's a free agent, so the Red Sox got a second baseman. Kinsler, obviously, and Dombrowski go back a ways. He was in Detroit when Dombrowski traded for him with Prince Fielder a long time ago when he was the general manager. So the Red Sox helped themselves over the last couple days, too. And the Red Sox won last night against the Phillies in extra innings 2-1. Price pitched well. And the Red Sox right now are playing very, very well. They're 40-something over 500. And they put the Yankees in a situation where the Yankees, have had this incredible year. I mean, they're 30-something over. The Yankees are 67 and 30. How are you 67 and 37 and 6 out? I know it's only 4 and a loss, but the Yankees are 30 over 500, playing 644 baseball, which is around 103, 104 wins, and they're 6 games behind. I mean, 54 Indians and Yankees, anybody? 61 Tigers? 93 Giants? I mean, the Yankees have had a tremendous year. Not so great lately, but a tremendous year, and still they trail the Red Sox. I think the Red Sox will cool. The Red Sox schedule has been very favorable. They do have some tough teams. They play the Phillies, the Braves, the Astros, the Indians. Phillies didn't stop them last night, so we'll have to wait and see. All right, let's get some calls in before we get to Kurt Smith and Presidents in Baseball. You like that spot. Bill in Easton, PA, has started us here this segment, and he's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Billy, good afternoon. How are you today, pal?
Good afternoon, Dog. Been listening to you since the first day you appeared with Imus.
My gosh, 1988, 1989.
Yep.
Good for you. Go ahead. 30 years ago.
Long-time Yankee fan, and I will say this one thing and shut up and listen to you. When Mickey Mantle couldn't cut it, they sent him back down to the minors. And when Sanchez heals, he should do at least a 3-week stint in the minors to learn how to catch, to learn how to play baseball in the majors. Let me hear your thoughts.
They won't do that this year based on the fact that the minor league season will basically be over, and good call, by the time he supposedly comes back from this groin issue. The Yankees are not going to do that. The Yankees are in a tricky spot with Sanchez because he's obviously temperamental, and the Yankees do not want to upset the apple cart and have him go the other direction and lose him mentally. So they have to treat him with some kid gloves, but also be quote-unquote understandable of Yankee pride and Yankee tradition. So the Yankees are walking a very fine line. Plus, they have a manager who's got to ask the GM what to do about the catcher, because the catcher is one of the reasons why the old manager got fired. Here is Mark in Maryland, and he says hello, and he's on Mad Dog Unleashed after Bill. Mark, good afternoon. How are you today, pal? What's going on?
Hey, Chris. How you doing?
Marky, let me get a temperature. Hayden was all over the place. Give me the temperature mood right now in Washington regarding Harper, what they did not do today, and where they are as far as the pennant race is concerned. Let me hear.
Yeah, mainly they were talking about, the locals. They were talking about Harper, the trade of Harper. I didn't think they were going to deal him, and I think most people here didn't think so either. I mean, I think they just threw that out there, to see what they might have gotten, just in case somebody would have overpaid, But what I wanted to tell you about is that
does the fan base in Washington, the good baseball fan, do they want to see Harper re-signed?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's going to happen, but everybody wants him to re-sign. Now, whether they can do it or not, that's another story.
All right, so most fans in D.C. like Harper and want him back on the team.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next. Go ahead.
So, what's going on here, though, is that a lot of people are complaining about Dave Martinez, that he's not doing a good job. And you know what? I can't think of one game that he has lost by making a move. Maybe the one where he used the put the 5 guys in the infield. But even then, they were already losing that game anyway. So people are just complaining about him like it's his fault. And basically, it's the team just, for whatever reason, just doesn't hit when they need to. They have a big game, scored 10 runs, and then they come back the next day and get beat 1-0. So I just don't see what they think Martinez is supposed to do. He can't pitch or hit for him. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Mark, I get it, and good call. The Nationals have created this because they fire managers left and right. And that creates unrest with the fan base because the franchise has a tendency to unplug these skippers, whether it's, Matt Williams or Dusty or now, Martinez, a rookie manager, and that makes it tricky. Jonathan Scope, and I'm surprised the Orioles traded him. He's had a bad year, but he's a very good hitter and a good second baseman. And Milwaukee needs a second baseman. I don't know what they're going to do with Travis Shaw and Moustakas, who they just picked up, but he goes to the Brewers. Brewers have a good farm system. Duquette loves minor leaguers. We'll have to wait and see what they got back. But Baltimore's dismantling basically is complete. They weren't able to trade Adam Jones, but they got rid of everybody else. Mike in Orange County, California. Michael, good afternoon. How are you today?
Chris, how are you on
Michael,
this Tuesday?
I'm okay, Mike. Hey. Thanks. How are you?
Oh, I'm glad to hear. Doing well. Hey, 3 things. Let me touch on them real quick. First of all, the Trout special over the weekend on E60. They did a nice profile with Buster Olney. Very good. Very good. I think Rob Manfred might like it. It gives you a little insight into Michael.
I didn't see it. I did not see it. That's number one. Number 2. Go ahead. You may continue.
Number 2. The LA Times did a very interesting piece on sports in 1968, the very upheaval year in America. Let me tell you something. This is very interesting, I read. Did you know that Lem Barney and Mel Farr, the Lions, Mel, by the way, went to UCLA, they got Marvin Gaye a tryout with the Lions. Do you believe that? They actually tried him out at tight end, wide receiver, and fullback with the Lions. That's unbelievable to me. Marvin Gaye, the singer, is trying out with the Lions? Crazy.
Only you would be able to come up. What's the third thing today, Mike?
The third thing is, here's your quick quiz, and I heard it on DP show, but let me give it to you. These great USC teammates in the early 70s, one a great baseball player, one a great football player, were roommates. Okay? One of them's first name is the other's last name. Can you name these 2 USC greats that went on to Hall of Fame careers in their sports? I could give you a little more hint if you want. It's very interesting.
I don't know who it is, so I need another hint. Who is it?
It's going to be Lynn Swan and Fred Lynn. How do you like that?
Yeah, Fred Lynn's not a Hall of Famer, but I get the idea. I did know Lynn went there, and I did think of Swan out of the gate, but I wouldn't have thought of Freddie Lynn. Nice job, Mike in Orange County. Always something a little different. We'll do the presidents next. That's a must listen for Evan Cohen and Steve Torrey because they've never heard of FDR. Well.